No doubt you've gathered here because you want to celebrate Govardhan Puja, and you may be afraid of what the Bhagavatam says at the end of the chapter on the Govardhan Puja celebration, that for those who do not participate in the celebration, you'll be actioned by the snakes, falling rocks, and wild animals on Govardhan Hill. So maybe you've gathered here because you're afraid of that. Or maybe you've gathered here because you're starting to become eager to follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan, who, no matter what happened, simply thought of Krishna's happiness, Krishna's welfare, even when it seemed like they were acting for their own self-interest and for their own protection. No, this is the mystery of Vrindavan. So we'll speak about that. We're going to read from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, Chapter 14, the Lord's feeling of separation. Text 120. This is a verse that Sri Caitanya Charitamrita quotes from the book by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami called Gauranga Stava Kalpa Vriksha. We'll explain a little bit why this is important, this quoting from Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. This verse may not be easy to chant for me or for you, but we'll all do our best. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Samipe Niladresh Chakata Girirajasya Kalanad Aye Goshte Govardhana Giripatim Lokitum Ita Vrajanyasmit Yuktva Pramada Iva Davanan Avritito Ganaya Swagorango Hridaya Udayan Mam Madayati Samipe Niladresh Chatakagiri Rajasya Kalanad Ayego Shte Govardhana Giripatim Lokitam Ita Vrajanasmit Yuktva Pramada Iva Davanavadito Ganaya Swagorango Hridaya Udayan Mam Madayati. Samipe Niladresh Chatakagiri Rajasya Kalanad. Aye Goshte Govardhana Giripatim Lokitum Hita. Vrajanasmit Yuktva Pramada Iva Davanam Bhavrito. Ganaya Swagorango Hridaya Udayan Mam Madayati. You have to be different, huh? Vaishnavis. If you want to give it a miss, that's okay. All right. We have our Krishnagacha, the product of the Mayapur Gurukula, so he can just float through it all. Om Agana Chimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Why not approach Govardhan Puja, the celebration, the hill, through the lens of Krishna himself as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu? This verse, as we said, is written by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And he's important. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, will explain to us Raghunath Das Goswami's recollections are important because he wrote down what he witnessed by his living with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Otherwise, Kaviraj Goswami says these ecstatic pastimes, these leelas of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, can be unbelievable because such ecstatic demonstrations are beyond even what's described in the Shastra. You know how in Nectar Devotion and throughout Srimad Bhagavatam there's reference to the Ashtasatvika, the 8 ecstatic symptoms. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu surpassed even the statements of the Shastras. What he demonstrated, no one had seen before. And no one will see after until the next appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. Just as Krishna comes once every day of Brahma, similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also comes in the Kali Yuga after Lord Krishna's appearance. As we said, Kaviraj Goswami explains that these ecstatic demonstrations are inconceivable and hard to understand, even unbelievable. But he says he accepts everything 100% due to his realization coming from hearing straight from Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Hearing doesn't mean just blindly accepting. When you are hearing in parampara, you're gaining experience. This is hard for people to understand. Because yes, this is bhakti mysticism, you might say. That the sound vibration brings experience. When the sound vibration is recited by someone properly situated, a Vaishnava properly situated, and when the hearer is properly situated. Both things must be there. Common example given is for conception to take place. Both the man and woman have to be capable of having a child in terms of potency. So similarly, in hearing about Krishna and hearing about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when the speaker is properly situated in parampara, and the listener is also properly situated, you have a dynamic combination. Something ignites, which is beyond just blind following and religious belief. Hearing in the authorized way brings you experience, direct experience. These books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, are not like collections of information which can be mastered by intellectual prowess. The depths of these books is limitless because these books are the presence of Krishna. And according to your realization, you'll see various depths in these books. So sometimes devotees say, oh, I've read the books several times. Isn't there something new? Yes, it's Nityanutana, ever new, ever fresh. But do you have the ever fresh eyes to see that? But instead of accepting that, we make a mundane judgment. whether we're conscious or not. Oh, I've heard it before. I've even read Chaitanya Charitamrita once or twice. The super soul in your heart, as we often explain, makes the bhakti experience ever fresh. In spite of your mundane sense perception, the super soul is Hrishikesh, the master of the senses. So in spite of our mundane blinders, if we please the Lord through devotional service, He grants us deeper and deeper perceptions, realizations, and experiences. So much so that you could be doing the same service every day, just mopping the floor or cleaning the pots or whatever devotional service you are fortunate to have. It seems from the external point of view to be the same old thing, but internally there's an ever-fresh wonderland. It's the same with devotees giving up their bodies. From the external point of view, it looks the same. Non-devotees give up their bodies. Devotees give up their bodies. So what's the difference? They both look like they're suffering from the external point of view if you take into account the bodily ordeal. But internally, there's a huge difference. And it is the spirit soul within the body that is going through the experience. And that experience will vary according to how much attachment we have for our body and how much we are absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Well, just like there's the saying, you can't judge a book by the cover. I guess it's an old-fashioned saying now. What should you say? You can't judge an e-book by the size of the typeface or something. In any case, another expression. It was popular when I was a teenager. It's probably forgotten now, and probably no one likes it, but beauty is only skin deep. What do you mean beauty is only skin deep? Everyone wants to have a beautiful body and be associated with a beautiful body. So much so that they can't even understand that relationships involve dealing with someone's psychology. No, you just get mesmerized by the body, the bodily movements. So beauty is only skin deep. Similarly, skin deep, everything looks the same. Devotee life, non-devotee life. Arjuna's on the battlefield. Krishna has girlfriends. It all looks the same from the mundane bodily point of view. But the bhakti experience opens doors to other realities, which are indeed supreme, and make the material so-called realities so inconsequential. So this is why Kaviraj Goswami is quoting Raghunath Das Goswami. And this pastime he's describing can seem quite esoteric. But let's remember, you're dealing with the pinnacle of pure love. Because Krishna wanted to find out, what is the highest love for me like? What does it feel like? What does the highest lover taste in me? What does my sweetness taste like? I can't taste myself as Krishna. What is the happiness that my greatest lover, Srimati Radharani, feels? I can't know this in my position, so I'll take her position. We'll chant the word for words and the translation. Samipe, near. Niladre, Jagannath Puri. Chataka, named Chataka. Girirajasya, the king of sand dunes. Kalanat, on account of seeing. Aye, Goshte, to the place for pasturing cows. Govardhana Giri Patim, Govardhan, the king of hills. Lokitum, to see. Ita, from here. Vrajan, going. Asmi, I am. Iti, thus. Uktva, saying. Pramada, madden. Iva, as if. Davan, running. Avadrita, being followed. Ganai, by the devotees. Swai, own. Gauranga, Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Hridaye, in the heart. Udayan, awakening. Mam, me. Madayati, maddens. Translation. Near Jagannath Puri is a great sand dune known as Chataka Parvata. Seeing that hill, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, I shall go to the land of Braja to see Govardhan Hill." Then he began running madly toward it, and all the Vaishnavas ran after him. This scene awakens in my heart and maddens me. Purport. This verse is Gauranga Stava Kalpavriksha, number 8. This scene awakens in my heart and maddens me. This is bhakti at its appropriate level. Externally, a devotee may look impoverished, suffering from disease, undergoing death, but internally, something else is going on. Why else would you look at a sand dune? Girirajasya, Chataka Parvata is described. Girirajasya, the king of sand dunes. What is so special about a sand dune? You all have seen sand dunes at the beach. Why is Srila Raghunath Das Goswami glorifying such a leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu racing toward a sand dune, saying, "I shall go to the land of Braja to see Govardhan Hill." He's running, and actually, he's running at the speed of wind. And the Vaishnavas are trying to follow him. He was walking on the beach at Puri, and then he sees this sand dune. And immediately, Govardhan Hill. And he races toward it at the speed of the wind. Now, what kind of madness is this, you would say? This is the madness of pure love. Because of the love, what you're seeing transforms. On the mundane platform, artists and writers and singers make poems and romance novels and songs about how the lover sees just a little something belonging to the beloved and just enters practically a trance thinking of the beloved. There's one medieval poem where the beloved, one princess, has just passed by a particular spot on the road, and she's riding in her carriage, her opulent carriage, and one of her hairs, of course they have to be golden hairs, falls on the ground. And then she's gone, the carriage is gone, and her, what would you call, her suitor, someone who's pursuing her, we don't know whether he's successful or not, he happens to see just one piece of golden hair on the road, and he just falls into a mundane ecstasy. Oh, he picks up the hair. Oh, this is the hair of my beloved. Now, it's amazing how human beings would all aspire for such an experience. But when you read about it in Caitanya Charitamrita, you have your doubts. Wait a minute now. Can this be for real? We're so envious, we don't understand that the thing we want the most, Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have unlimitedly. We call what we want real. I just want love, to be loved, someone to love, someone who will love me. That's real, but our impersonalist tendency causes us to discount that experience in the Supreme Absolute Truth. Remember, we explained a couple of weeks ago how impersonalism is the default position in the material world. When you really want to know where you're at, you don't have to dig too deeply into your operating system and look at the settings. You should know 9 times out of 10, the box for impersonalism is ticked. And if you want to make a major change in your life, untick that box. And it takes constant effort because it seems to always revert back to the default position, impersonalism. The science of love of Krishna should fascinate us. Why doesn't it? Because to varying degrees we're covered by envy. We don't take Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes so seriously. So there was Mahaprabhu walking on the beach, and he saw this sand dune. But did he see the sand dune? He saw Govardhan Hill. You say, well, this is a mistake. But on the platform of pure love, there are no mistakes. You can't evaluate the experience of pure love for Krishna using mundane, material criteria for evaluation. Just like Vidura is famous for inviting Krishna over for lunch, and his wife is preparing something to feed Krishna. And they're both, she and the husband, Vidura, are both in ecstasy. They don't realize that the bananas that they're offering to Krishna are such that they threw away the pulp and are offering Krishna the banana peels. And Krishna was relishing this. This is a mistake, isn't it? How do you evaluate this with mundane logic and reason? Caitanya Charitamrita educates us as to the dynamics of pure love. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's seeing the Chataka Parvata as Govardhan Hill is the perfection of life. So we discussed how he began running at the speed of wind. Oh, I shall go to Vrindavan. Here is Govardhan Hill. He ran, and then the devotees caught on to what's going on, and they tried to run after him. They let out a loud cry, "Hey!" And they were running after him because they knew when Mahaprabhu is in these ecstasies, unprecedented things can happen, and they're concerned for his safety. So they were running after him, but they couldn't catch him. The list of devotees running after Mahaprabhu is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just see, you get eternal fame just for running after Mahaprabhu as he chases a sand dune. What Mayavadi can understand this? Even the slowest runner, Bhagavan Acharya, who's lame, he was doing his best to follow everyone. And the elders, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, they did their best. But they weren't in the lead. The description of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu running and then suddenly stopping in his tracks, frozen as the ecstasies overwhelmed him. The 8 ecstatic symptoms, and beyond that, he turned white as a sheet. All the holes in his body, the hair holes in his body, erupted with blood and perspiration. He started tottering, and then suddenly he just collapsed on the ground. So finally, the devotees like Srup Damodar and the entourage caught up with him. They saw him on the ground, and they broke out crying because the ecstatic symptoms they were seeing looked painful. Govinda got there first, and he would pour water from his water pot on Mahaprabhu and start fanning him with his cloth. And then the other devotees caught up. And they all cried, seeing Mahaprabhu in such, from a material point of view, this whole scene was a very, you might say, grotesque sight from the material point of view. And these devotees are not materialists, but still, they're feeling for the Lord. Seeing him so, you could say, deformed by ecstasy. So they started to chant loud kirtan. And amidst their loud Harinam Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu arises in partial external consciousness. He arises, just says, Hari Bol! And all the devotees shout, Hari! Hari! They were so happy to see Mahaprabhu coming back to normal. But Mahaprabhu is looking around. He's not fully in external consciousness. You know from Chaitanya Charitamrita that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inhabits 3 phases. External consciousness, in between, and internal consciousness. So he's now coming out of internal consciousness into the marginal, partial internal, partial external. So he's still not responding normally or ordinarily. And he's looking all around. And the devotees are wondering, what is he looking at? He's looking as if he saw something, but now he doesn't know where it is. He's trying to find it. And then he began to talk. Oh, I was at Govardhan Hill. And Krishna was approaching on the hill. Krishna was playing his flute along with his cows. He was along with his cows. And then I saw Srimati Radharani on Govardhan Hill with the gopis. And then Krishna and Srimati Radharani entered a cave. And the gopis beckoned to me that I should pick some flowers for them. And I was doing that. But then I heard a loud noise. And that was that. That was the end of that. You all made that loud noise. You brought me back. I had a chance to see Krishna's pastimes. And now I've lost it. And he began to cry. And again all the devotees began to cry. Mahaprabhu appeared he's Krishna appearing in the position of Srimati Radharani. He's Krishna with the heart, the emotions of Srimati Radharani. And also Mahaprabhu, as Prabhupada briefly explains in Caitanya Charitamrita, is showing the position of a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. So this is all going on. He's outside the cave, and the gopis are asking, assist us, pick some flowers for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. So he's not simply observing these pastimes, he's assisting in them as a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. But the kirtan of the devotees snapped him out of this reality to another reality. And so he's lamenting, I had a chance to see it. Not only was he seeing, but he was doing active service. But he was brought back, and therefore he was crying. And the devotees began to cry. So what is real? The bhakti science teaches us that the reality is pure love. And what you see and what you do, absorbed in pure love, that's the real thing. Gradually, Caitanya Charitamrita, your reading of it, will train you up to see what is real. Your conception of reality will change. Bhakti is not some kind of material sentiment or religious belief or just some fanciful notion. It is a transformative reality. That's why Krishna says in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what is night for one set of people is day for the other, and vice versa. They're seeing two different realms. So bhakti is equipping you to see the spiritual realm. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is demonstrating the peak potential of that bhakti experience. He told the same thing to Ramananda Roy when they met during Mahaprabhu's tour of South India. After a long explanation of what is the real goal of life, Ramananda Roy says, oh, by the way, what's happening right before my eyes? First I see a sannyasi, then I see Shyam Sundar, then I see a golden doll, I see Srimati Radharani, what's happening? And Lord Caitanya says, oh, you're just so Krishna conscious you see these things. But don't tell anyone. So what you see depends on who you are. Sometimes there's an expression, what you see is what you get. That's partially true. But more profoundly, what you see depends on who you are. Depending on who you are, you will see a certain way and you will get certain things. So it's not just what you see is what you get. Who you are determines what you see, and then what you see determines what you get. Who you are means what is your state of consciousness. So Mahaprabhu is demonstrating the height of bhakti. Mahabhava, just as Srimati Radharani experiences. So I thought we could approach Govardhan Puja first through the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't know if you often think about Govardhan Puja in that way. Our access to Krishna can only be successful through the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, Krishna is extraordinarily difficult to achieve. So if we're feeling some lack in our spiritual life, if we're feeling some loss of enthusiasm, loss of determination, loss of focus, how do we rekindle? How do we reignite and get back on our feet and get going again? You can do that most appropriately, most effectively by increasing your following the instructions of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu. They're chanting Hare Krishna, they're hearing about Krishna, and they are distributing Krishna's glories. That's the quickest way to revive yourself. And of course, the ecstasies that Mahaprabhu is demonstrating in this chapter and throughout Antya Lila, they're beyond what any devotee can experience other than Srimati Radharani. To the mundaner, Mahaprabhu's ecstasies look like he's suffering from a disease. I've explained before that in official histories of Orissa, you'll find mention of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He's referred to as a great saint who existed at that time. Even in the British histories of that period, you'll find mention of Lord Caitanya. But they don't refer to him as Lord Caitanya. They refer to him as a great Bengali saint who was doing great social work. He was smashing the class distinctions. He was allowing everyone to access bhakti. He wasn't paying attention to what kind of family they were born in. So especially the British historians and also Indian historians, they take note of that. He was a great social reformer, equal rights, smashing casteism. But what happened? In his latter years, he lost the plot. He was overwhelmed by epilepsy. That's their external account, the mundane account. But when you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you get the real scoop. So it shows you what you see depends on who you are, and who you are depends on who you're hearing from. So it's not that bhakti yogis have worked themselves up into some kind of artificial trance. Krishna, Krishna. No. By that chanting and hearing about Krishna, your vision changes. And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, in this Chataka Parvat incident, is showing you the peak potential of pure love. He's not mistaken when he sees the sand dune but then sees Govardhan Hill. He's not wrong. He's in He's the most right. The most rightness is all about the most pure love. We've explained how the materialists would love to be enthralled by love. They make songs and poems. Oh, love makes me do foolish things. Sit around by my phone, a phone that never rings. Hoping you'll call, hoping to hear you say, you're coming, but you never will. This tugs at everyone's heart. The ladies easily admit it, the men don't. But everyone wants to be enthralled by love. And here is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrating the pinnacle of love. And we think it's mythology. So, Kaviraj Goswami ends this chapter by saying, who can properly describe all the uncommon pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? They are all simply his play. Mahaprabhu Kela, the play of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I have briefly described them just to give an indication of his transcendental pastimes. Nevertheless, anyone who hears this will certainly attain the shelter of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Even though he's just giving an indication. So you might say, well, great, I've heard it. When do I get the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet? Well, that depends on you. You have the ticket in your hand, but when you decide to get on the train is up to you. It's like you're at a train station, you're on the platform, you have your ticket, the train is coming, another train's coming. When you decide to board the train is up to you. And also, you may board the train and then get off at the next stop, even though you have a ticket to go the full route. That's all up to you. Just like devotees ask Prabhupada, according to the Shastra, if you're watching when the Rath cart goes by, you get liberation. Oh, Srila Prabhupada said, yes, that's true. You get liberation at that moment. But what happens? What do you do when the cart goes by? After the car goes by, then what are you doing? So we have it in our hands. We have our ticket for attaining shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. But are we going to use it? Are we going to hold on to it? You know, sometimes in the days when paper tickets used to be issued for anything, sports events, concerts, whatever. Sometimes you would, if you wouldn't use the ticket, you would just keep it. I remember teenagers during my day, they would keep the ticket, or else if they use a ticket, they'd keep the stub. It's unknown these days, a ticket stub. No one even talks about that anymore, do they? A ticket stub. But they would keep the ticket stub pinned on their wall. I was there. A memento. Are we going to treat our bhakti in that way? I have the ticket. I haven't used it yet, but it's pinned on my wall. I got the ticket at the time of initiation. I keep the ticket on my wall as a memento. No, use the ticket. Get on the train and stay on the train. If you've gotten off the train by mistake, get back on. So finally, as always, Kaviraj Goswami concludes the chapter, the Lord's feeling of separation, by offering his pranams to the parampara, his predecessors, his superiors. Everyone in bhakti always needs superiors. That's what parampara means. So he ends with his famous statement, repeated again and again. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishna Dasa, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps.